Hello and welcome back to Behind the Wall. Today we will be talking about the Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300 and the Food City 500. And thank goodness, 3 weekends in a row with some good action. This is a new record for the season right now, because we've had 5 weekends in a row with literally nothingness. Both races have their fair share of racing action without the need for wrecks to spice them up. It's nice to see that we haven't fallen down the pothole of boringness, and we are actually getting some good action. I really don't have much to say about the races in general, because I have other topics I need to get to. But this was really the best race we've had all year. Hands down. Okay, I would have concluded this episode with this, but I'm going to end up spending a lot of time on this one. So the finish to this race has to be one of the stupidest I've ever seen. And it wasn't even that Kyle Busch won. It was Kyle Larson screwing it up all over again. Nothing against Larson, of course. He's my favorite driver, or my second favorite driver. Or Busch, who actually is a talented driver. But this finish has to be one of the most dumbest I've ever seen. Larson essentially gave the win to Busch and lost yet again. Busch, while not the worst driver in the sport, didn't really deserve the win. If you ask me, Blaney or Keselowski or even Larson at this point deserved the win a lot more. While this finish wasn't as controversial per se, it did leave a lot of fans with a bad taste in our mouths because Kyle Busch won. While some of us have nothing against Kyle Busch, unlike some other people, we do wish that it wasn't the same people winning every single week. I mean, come on, this was one of the best races of the year, if not the best, and it got ruined by seeing just one of the same old guys just winning. It's getting real old having to sit through guys like Martin Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick win every single week. I think we'd prefer it if it wasn't the same 3 guys just winning every single week. We'd much rather have it be a different guy winning at least every 2 weeks instead of the same guy winning 4 races in a row. Hopefully next race we can have a different guy win and not the same 3 guys. Or I'm pretty sure by the end of the year it's probably going to be the 4 guys since Larson will probably have a good amount of wins, or Boyer or Blaney or whoever. But then again, like half of those guys are pretty well liked, so no problem there. Wow. Just wow. You know how no one even knows who Tony Mrakovich is? I still don't know how to pronounce that last name. Well, I think everyone still doesn't know who he is because he didn't even start the race. They had to get Dylan Lupton back to drive the car. What? I don't know why Mrakovich had to leave the track or call Dylan Lupton, but you had hyped this up so much to not even compete. I'm sorry, what? Oh, really? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Mrakovich struggled in practice, so JGL had to put Dylan Lupton in the ride. Oh, wow. Now, there is a team that knows when a driver doesn't have talent. Was I right or was I wrong? I told you all, Mrakovich wasn't ready for the Xfinity Series. He needs to develop himself more in the ARCA Series before he moves into the top 3 series. I told you all. On the side note, from what people have said, Elliott Sadler was driving a little too aggressively during the later stages of the Xfinity race, which I can somewhat understand since we are at Thunder Valley. But this type of aggressive driving we normally see at Martinsville. I understand that Elliott is trying to redeem himself after last year, but dude, you're not going to win back much fans if you continue to drive like this. Well, once again, Penske has been screwed over, and it wasn't with just one driver. Nope, Brad Keselowski also ruined Roger Penske's chance of winning at Bristol today by running out a deflating tire. You'd think that Keselowski would know to back off and let someone else take the lead or sacrifice the lead to save his day, even though he would still fall behind 2 or 3 laps. At least he might be able to salvage a better finish. He had the second best car all day, and he had to let his tire blow out instead of trying to salvage a better finish than what he got. And 2 weeks in a row where this weekend was thrown away by Martin Truex Jr. because it was even more thrown away because he crashed on the 3rd lap. Considering that he was last year's champion, he's had a pretty average start to this year. It's probably the beginning of a slump. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh well, maybe next week I won't be able to throw away. Such a shame, really. Ty Majeski showed such promise last year when he competed in both Iowa races and Homestead, showing good speed and having decent runs. But since Austin Cindric has to get the majority of the races this year with Penske, we had to wait for Majeski to make his first start of the year until Bristol. Unfortunately, he was involved in both big wrecks that occurred, and he had to go to the garage early. That's a shame, really. Majeski has shown that he has the speed, but he just needs to develop a lot more. Maybe next time he competes, whenever that may be, he will have a strong finish. Such a shame for Michael McDowell. The man had such a strong start to the year, but after Las Vegas, it became a little too familiar for McDowell. Considering how good both he and David Reagan were this weekend during practice, it's saddening to see that the potential for an amazing finish fizzled out when he got loose and caused the first wreck of the day. Oh well, he always has the Bass Pro Shops Center night race, or the remaining restricted plate races. Maybe he could get himself a top 5. And can I just say how this hurt Matt Tibbs' points run? He was doing pretty well in points, and without penalties, stage points, or that bonus point whenever you win a race, and before updating the standings for Bristol, Tibbs would be 3rd overall. Oh no, I'm not making that up. He actually would be 3rd in points without all the bonuses and deductions and whatnot. Such a shame, really. Tibbs looked like a potential candidate for the points lead. Also, if you guys want a video explaining how I do my point systems, leave a comment and I'll consider it. But anyway, such a shame. Tibbs has had a streak of good finishes ruined by this bad performance and crash. Well, that sucks. Christopher Bell looked to be and is one of the favorites for this year's Rookie of the Year campaign. But he started out the year on such a low note, being caught up in the Austin Cindric wreck at Daytona, putting him in such a low points position. Then he had such a bad weekend, ending with that horrendous crash with Vinnie Miller again and Cody Ware. At least he's finally recovering since he finally cracked the top 5 in the actual standings. But without stage points and bonus points, he'd be tied with Ryan Reed for 10th in points right now. So this shows how much stage points affect the point standings nowadays. Believe me, just go to my Twitter at GNRaceFan.com and you'll see where he would be without the help of stage points. Maybe he could break this drought and get himself a win before the year's out. Such a shame. Such a shame for Ryan Blaney. The dude was dominating and looked like he was gonna win until Chris Buescher and Trevor Bayne ruined those chances. At least we know Blaney can win races in the 12 car, but then again, we all knew that from the second Speed Week started, so it's not really a surprise. Maybe he could get it done next week. And once again, we have some underperforming guys that got good runs this weekend. David Reagan had a good finish in his, at this point, average equipment team of Front Row Motorsports. Just imagine if Michael McDowell was able to have a good finish had he not crashed. Front Row Motorsports would be making some headlines again. Daniel Suarez also got a good finish for once, considering he got the championship in the Xfinity Series and made it to the Final Four, and would have made it to the Final Four anyway, based on consistency alone. This is also a good resurgence of the championship caliber driver, who is also my 5th favorite driver. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had a good run at a non-restricted plate track, which is nice, and another bonus is that Fastenal, 5th, 3rd, and Sunny D extended with Roush to 2021. Which will allow Stenhouse to further develop himself and prove that he is a capable driver in the Cup Series who isn't a restricted plate expert. But it's nice to see that we still have those in the sport. And another solid run for Matt DiBurrito. I think we all see him getting a better ride in the future, and as of right now, the 6 car looks perfect for him. Anyway, it's nice to see that Go Fast Racing is having some moderate success with Matt DiBenedetto, but we kind of expect that from him at Bristol, kind of, sort of, not really. I think that 6th place might have been a bit of a one-off. Anyway, I could see DiBurrito in a better ride in the near future. Who knows? Maybe the 6 will be available after this year. Yeah, sorry, Trevor Bayne. But out of everyone who had good finishes this weekend, the driver I wanted to put the focus on was Bubba Wallace Jr. Considering that he finally had some string of good finishes finally going after his incredible 2nd place finish at Daytona, the following 5 weeks were horrendous for this young driver. Thankfully, these past 2 weeks have been good finishes for Bubba. It sucks that these unfortunate finishes had to happen just a week after one of the most incredible upsets in NASCAR history. But now I think Bubba has found his strong suit and will continue to challenge Byron for Rookie of the Year. Also, in the actual point standings, he's literally 2 spots behind Byron, so that's a plus. Can I just say that Hendrick Motorsports is improving this year? They started out the season pretty poorly, but over time they began to improve and adjust to the new Camaros. And now they all finished pretty solidly this weekend. Alex Bowman got a top 5, continuing to add to his streak of consistency for the year. William Byron got a solid top 20, allowing him to maintain a pretty slim lead over Bubba Wallace Jr. for Rookie of the Year. And Jimmy Johnson finally got a top 5 this year. Looks like the old man is starting to get his senses back. And it looks like he will get a victory this year. And Chase Elliott's... Oh. Yeah, we can skip this one. Was I right or was I wrong? Chad Fincham did end up going to the garage because of crash damage and finished 33rd. But even if he didn't get involved in the crash, he still would have finished in the lower 30s regardless. I think Fincham either needs to stay in the Xfinity Series until he decides to retire or prove himself that he is a worthy driver of the Cup Series. But for now, I've said it multiple times, I'm going to say it again. He isn't ready for the Cup Series, and until he proves himself, he never will be. And my congratulations goes out to Ryan Preece for winning the Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300. Can we all just take a moment and appreciate how much Preece has turned his career around since he joined the sport? A modified driver who joined NASCAR and had a pretty meh 2016 season with JD Motorsports in the 01 car. Returned to the modified scene in 2017. They got signed on by Joe Gibbs to drive a few races in the 18 and 20 cars. Ended up performing amazingly the entire season and got a surprise win in Iowa, beating up fellow JGR development driver Kyle Benjamin. Then got signed back in 2018, but only part-time for some reason. Ryan Preece has come a long way since he joined JD Motorsports in 2016, and he has such a bright future in the sport. As long as he stays affiliated with JGR or Furniture Row in some way, he should be fine. I look forward to seeing the future of this young man, and we all look forward to his eventual career in the Cup Series. And that concludes this episode of Behind the Wall. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so glad that this race wasn't boring, and I think with this new racing service, Bristol has the potential to be great again. And if this works for Bristol, maybe we could try this new track compound stuff on maybe some of the other tracks. Or we could just study what made the races great in the past and do what those races used to do. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. It's unbelievable how many episodes in this series is. I still have more to come, and thank you all so much for watching. This is Race Nation 48 signing off.